And welcome to it. Thanks for being with us here on Deck. I'm Brett Hollander, and today we're going back to October the 5th of 2012, a memorable day in Orioles history, the first ever American League wild card game. Orioles and Rangers in Arlington, Texas. That 2012 Orioles team shocking the world, finding their way to the postseason, competing the entire regular season for a division title. They fell a few games short with 93 wins to the Yankees 95. But there they were against the two-time pennant-winning Texas Rangers. The Rangers, the heavy favorites in this game, and they went with Yu Darvish on the mound on this day. Yu Darvish, who was the talk of baseball, a flamethrower, and a big signing for the Rangers. The Orioles countered with a veteran southpaw they picked up on August 26th of that season, Joe Saunders. There was a nice dichotomy of pitching there, the flamethrower versus the crafty left-hander. And the Orioles, on paper, looked like they were in for it. A mismatch indeed, trying to advance in the 2012 postseason. But the game did not play according to that script. Not in the least. So the Orioles had Joe Saunders on the mound, and it was the way he worked through this really tough Texas lineup that was so interesting. Very early in the game, Buck Showalter had Steve Johnson warming up in the Orioles bullpen, but Saunders found his way out of it. In the first inning, he minimizes the damage. He gets a double play ground ball off the bat of Josh Hamilton, and he works his way through 5 2/3 innings, allowing just the one run.
Fly ball right field, pretty well hit. Going back is Cruz. He will square. He'll make the catch, tagging from third. Coming in to score the go-ahead run is J.J. Hardy. So a sacrifice fly off the bat of Adam Jones.
In the 7th inning, Nate McLouth was the batter.
Base hit to left. And Dino scores, and it's 3-1 Baltimore.
And there's one thing you have to love about this game. The Orioles had some stars on this team, and Matt Wieters and Adam Jones and J.J. Hardy. But much like the 2012 season, it was led by these scrappy players, guys who were just picked up late in the year, like Nate McLouth and Joe Saunders. But one thing that was very consistent for the Orioles all year long was their bullpen. And Joe Saunders told me he knew if he could get it to that bullpen in a tight game, they had a great chance to win, and that's exactly what happened. Darren O'Day came on in relief. What a terrific pitcher he was for the Orioles and that season. And they needed Brian Mattis to get one big out, and that one big out was Josh Hamilton.
Mattis again ready. Check the runner. Here it comes. Swing and a miss. Strike came out. Brian Mattis comes in. He strikes out Hamilton on 3 pitches.
So eventually it gets the Orioles closer, a guy who saved 50 games in 2012 and in 2013. Jim Johnson owes up 5-1. Johnson has the bases loaded on him. The tying run is at the plate. And the moment Orioles fans have been waiting for since 1997, celebration in a playoff game.
And Johnson delivers. Murphy sends a fly ball toward left center. That should do it. McLouth is there. Under it now, makes the catch. And for the Orioles, there will be at least 2 games to be played yet at Oriole Park at Camden Yards. They're in the win column.
The great Joe Angel with that call perfectly talking about what was to come in Baltimore and also the celebration at hand in Arlington, Texas. And it was party on in the Orioles clubhouse as they celebrate their wild card win, and they knock off the 2-time pennant-winning champion Texas Rangers. And then it was back to Baltimore to start a wild 5-game series against the New York Yankees. And another celebration occurred there that we actually talked about last week. But what a game, really a shocking upset, 5-1 over the Texas Rangers, a perfect symbol of that entire season to win that game and to find a way to do it against Yu Darvish, Joe Saunders, Nate McLouth, and J.J. Hardy and Adam Jones had big RBIs in that game. Undoubtedly, they played great defense. They found a way. The bullpen, that's what it looked like in 2012. And then they went toe-to-toe with the Yankees in the division series. We're going to hear from Joe Saunders on that moment coming up. But first, Orioles Auctions is the official online auction of the Baltimore Orioles. New autographed and authenticated items are now available, including a Miguel Castro autographed ball, a DJ Stewart autographed bat, a Richie Martin autographed bat, an Alex Cobb autographed jersey, an Austin Wynn's autographed jersey, and a Stevie Wilkerson autographed jersey. All proceeds from this Memorial Day auction benefit TAPS. Learn more at Orioles.com/auctions. Auction ends on Sunday, May 31st at 10 p.m. And I mentioned it. I had a chance, along with Jeff Arnold, to catch up with Joe Saunders, looking back at this game 8 years later. And it was interesting with Joe. I asked him early on, that Orioles rotation that year had guys like Wei-In Chen, Jason Hamill. Now, they would start games 1 and 2 of the division series. Chris Tillman had a huge second half for the Orioles, really a main catalyst in that rotation. But even still, I asked Joe, was he surprised that Buck Showalter picked him to pitch that sudden death game?
I don't know if surprised is the word. I would say shocked. I'll be honest. I think everybody knew my stats going into Arlington Stadium, and they weren't exactly stellar, I would say, to be nicely. So, for him to show the confidence, he showed in me to give me the ball was, for me was a big step. And then, I had to go out there and, be the true underdog story, if you will.
Yeah, Joe Saunders, you can hear that interview in its entirety on Orioles Magic, the podcast presented by Miller Lite. And as I mentioned earlier, the way Saunders maneuvered his way through that really, really tough Rangers lineup, a lineup that featured so many stars like Adrian Beltre and Josh Hamilton and Ian Kinsler and players like that. And it was really, you overplay this word in baseball, especially for left-handers, but it was crafty. Every pitch had a meaning. Every placement, every batter, it was just trying to survive and put the Orioles in position to win the ball game. And I asked Joe about his mentality.
My mentality, honestly, was, give it everything you got and try to be as perfect as you can be. The nice thing about, facing professional hitters is you can kind of, get away with a mediocre pitch on pitch one because, they like to be more patient. It's honestly the younger guys that are more aggressive that kind of give, some of the veteran pitchers some headaches because they are so aggressive early in the count. So, just getting ahead. I remember telling myself before that game, I was like, hey, I got to get ahead of these guys because if I'm going to be working from behind in 2-0, 3-1 kind of counts like that, it's going to be a rough night, and it's also going to be really tough too. So, getting ahead of them. Also, when I did get ahead, making quality good pitches. I don't remember how many guys I struck out. I might have struck out like maybe 5, maybe 6 or something like that. But just making quality pitches early on, like putting them on the defensive rather than me being always on the defensive. I remember thinking about that.
Now, Joe Saunders is a guy who played in and pitched in 10 big league seasons. He was a first-round pick. He pitched in several big playoff games. But I asked him, beating Darvish that day, winning this wild card game for the Orioles, and essentially getting them this moment that the team and fans have long desired at that point. And Joe is from the Mid-Atlantic region. He grew up in Northern Virginia. I asked him where this one ranks in his baseball life.
It ranks number 1 for many reasons. Like I said before, like my numbers leading up to there, it was one of those things where, no one really gave me a chance. So I kind of had to prove myself, not only to myself, but to a lot of other people. And, at the time, it was, for Buck to give me the ball in that kind of situation, it was just, it was a pretty amazing feeling, and it was a lot of pressure, but, and a lot of responsibility. But, I just told myself, hey, let's piss a lot of people off in Vegas and go win this one and really get a celebration going in Texas.
So there you have it. Joe Saunders, who goes 3-3 down the stretch for the Orioles with a pretty good ERA, picked up late in August, but has this amazing night in Arlington, Texas, where he was picked as the veteran to beat Yu Darvish and the Rangers and get the Orioles to the division series, and that's just what he did. By the way, he also pitched well in a must-win Game 4 of the division series against the Yankees, where he goes 5 2/3 and allowed just 1 run. That game won by the Orioles in extra innings to force a Game 5 in the Bronx. But that was a lot of fun to look back on. You can hear the entire interview with Joe Saunders on Orioles Magic, the podcast presented by Miller Lite. But right now, let's go back to that wild card magical night in Arlington, Texas. Orioles Rangers. with their seasons on the line. Enjoyed, everyone. Thanks for being with us on Deck.